It's Election Day 2008, and despite a huge turnout, this election was similar to most elections in that large numbers of eligible voters simply didn't plan on voting.
No, I'm not planning to vote on Tuesday.
Can we predict who's likely to vote? Are there psychological variables that make such predictions more accurate? What influences a voter's thinking, and can subliminal messages influence their thoughts and behavior? Social psychologist Richard Petty has some answers to these questions. Petty says you can predict whether someone will vote by knowing whether they score high or low on this scale, which measures a person's need to evaluate. Some of us like to evaluate most things we come in contact with, from store products to the cars we buy to the food we eat.
Well, it used to be thought that virtually everybody evaluated everything all the time, that we were just evaluative creatures, that we wanted to know what's good and bad and so forth.
But that's not true.
There are some people who just don't like to evaluate things. They go through life, and they go through life fine. We were able to show that need to evaluate predicted the likelihood of voting.
Those scoring high on this scale form strong opinions and are likely to vote, but those scoring low form fewer opinions.
So in the domain of politics, if you don't have an opinion about the candidates early on, it's less likely that you're going to want to vote.
We took one item from voters, each of whom told us,
"Yes, I'm going to vote this Tuesday."
Some say it's impossible to have definite opinions about lots of things, while others think it's better to be neutral. What about you? Do you think it's better to have definite opinions about a lot of things or remain neutral about most issues?
Definite opinions.
I think it's better to have definite opinions.
Have definite opinions about a lot of things.
I believe it's better to have a definite opinion about most things.
Having definite opinions is the response typically given by high need to evaluate people. And recall, each told us that he or she planned on voting, except the woman on the right.
Do you think it's better to have definite opinions about a lot of things or remain neutral about most issues?
Remain neutral about the issues.
Banks of phone operators used 3 questions from the need to evaluate scale and called potential voters around the country as part of the National Election Survey. And while many variables like interest level and knowledge influence voting,
Need to evaluate was able to predict above and beyond all of these.
how need to evaluate develops in children is not well understood, and it's probably influenced both by genetics and parental style.
We know that by the time you're in college, at least, there are clear differences in whether or not people like to have opinions.